For a long time, I thought networking meant walking into a room full of noisy people, full of strangers, and pretending I was someone I wasn't. And as someone on the spectrum, that sounded like my idea of torture. But over the years, I've learned that networking doesn't have to mean just playing a game. It can be about finding people who actually get you, who see your strengths, and who want to work with you, not around you. Welcome to the very first episode of In Business with Autism. I'm Brad, and I've been in business since 1996, and it hasn't always been easy. In fact, it's been crushing at times, but I wouldn't give up my dream to go back to a job. The thought of working for someone else again is a nightmare to me. This podcast is for entrepreneurs who think a little differently. I'm going to talk honestly about running a business when you're wired for focus, logic, and deep thinking, but not always built for small talk, chaos, and sales calls. Today, I'm going to start with something many people avoid, and that is networking. And I'll be honest with you, I really love networking now. It's one of the most powerful things that I can teach people about growing a business. But it is one of the most important parts of growing any successful business. So remember that. I promise by the end of this episode, you'll have a few practical ways to make it better for you without pretending to be neurotypical or forcing yourself into burnout. So let's get into it. When I first got into business, I thought people would just start knocking on my door because I'd started a company offering digital marketing services. And back in the 1990s, that was really uncommon and people were desperate for help with their marketing. But that didn't happen. I sat at home by myself and no one was interested and no one called. And I've seen this happen to plenty of entrepreneurs who really don't like going out in public. I realized that I needed to get out and talk to people. In fact, lots of people. So I joined the local Chamber of Commerce, and that was a great place to start. In fact, I didn't even need to join at first. I just went along to their meetings to try it out. And there's a whole range of different events. At first it was quite overwhelming, but over time you learn to discern and turn off conversations and concentrate on the person in front of you. I came home after those first meetings absolutely exhausted, but I noticed that there were some genuinely nice people that I enjoyed talking to. I tried out a whole range of different networking groups, and some worked better than others. I liked the ones where you could move around and chat or sit for breakfast with the same group each month, so you got to know people really well. Over time, I started to realize that networking was not about giving out business cards or pitching what you do. It was about actually understanding other people and what they did and what their problems were. And when I understood that, that's when networking started to work for me because my job was to solve their problems. It took about 6 months before I started to see results, but when I did, I focused in on solving those client problems that people were having. Those happy clients started recommending me, and then the real magic of networking started to happen. I didn't need to sell myself anymore. People kept referring me and bringing in more work. And many of those people who were initially clients or people I met at networking became long-term friends. And some of them I've had for over 15 years. And it's really enjoyable to me to actually see those people and to actually catch up with them and find out about their lives. I've got to know about them, their families, their businesses, everything. And it's created a whole nother level of interest for me that makes business the fun that I find it. I highly recommend getting out and networking. So let's look at some techniques and tactics to make your networking a little bit easier and a little less overwhelming. I'm going to break these down in kind of 5 main categories to try and make it easier for you. And I'll have a little bit of a summary after this that you can download after you've listened or watch this on YouTube. And I'll put that link in the description for you to download that. Don't forget to download those because they will be useful to you. Okay, first area is personal mindset. Networking is not about you. It is really about other people. So you can turn yourself off and stop worrying and just ask questions of other people. You don't need to talk to everyone in the room. If you can go to a networking meeting and get to know one person really well in that meeting, and then come back the next time and catch up with them just for 5 minutes even, you'll start to build that connection. When you've been to a networking meeting, make sure you plan recovery time afterwards. If you try and go from meeting to meeting to meeting, you will burn out probably. I know I did. I couldn't handle it. It was too much. But if you go to a meeting, come home and relax for a little while, have a cup of tea or drink of water, whatever it is, you'll find that that really helps. When it comes to networking, being consistent is more powerful than being outgoing. So you need to keep going. This is a mistake I see too many people do. They go to one networking event and they go, oh, there's no one here that I like. That's not the answer. Just keep going on a regular basis. New people will come. You'll meet people you like. And the people you thought you may not connect with, you actually do after some time as you get the chance to know them. Remember, networking is hard for everybody, not just us. You've got to go in there and realize that everybody's stepping out of their comfort zone to talk about their business and to promote themselves without being pushy, hopefully. I'd like you to think about it in terms of long-term relationships, not quick sales, because it's not about quick sales. Yeah, you might pick up some, but don't think of it that way, because what you do now will pay off for many years to come if you do it really well. And the skills you're learning when you start networking will power your business for years and years and years. Second one is finding the right environment. As I mentioned, some events aren't for me. They might be for you, but they're not for me. So choose smaller, quieter networking events or breakfast groups rather than the really big, chaotic drinks groups at first. You can go to the drinks, like 5 o'clock drinks. They're really good fun, but some of them are absolutely chaotic. There's 100, 200 people in a very small bar area, and it's too much. So start off with some smaller events and work your way up. It's like playing sport. You got to condition yourself. You got to work your way into it. There's plenty of online groups also that you can get involved with from a networking perspective. For example, you got LinkedIn, Slack groups, Discord. There's all sorts of places, Reddit, where you can actually network through that interface. Test the different events. So you got chambers of commerce, masterminds, casual drinks, industry meetups. There's all sorts of opportunities there, and find which one suits your style. You won't know straight away, so don't make any assumptions. Go in there with an open mind and an open heart and try and meet one person. Okay. My goal for you is to meet one person and connect with them, get to know them, and make sure they're not in the same industry as you unless they're in an opposing area. So my first big business was in search engine optimization, SEO. So I worked a lot with web developers because they had clients who needed SEO. So I could connect with them, but connecting with other SEO companies, while interesting, was not going to bring me some business in most cases. Conversation tactics. Have a few go-to questions like, what kind of clients do you like working with? Or what got you into this line of work? Those starter questions, rather than who are you, what do you do, are much better at opening up a conversation. You want an open-ended question that people can kind of talk on with. Now, one of the things I learned from one of my mentors was to use phrases like, oh, really? Those encourage people to keep talking. And you get more information and you learn more about them. And after a while, it'll become really normal to you. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Try them. Give them a run. And remember, listen more than you talk. People remember good listeners. If you do all the talking, they actually won't remember you. If you stay quiet and you ask good questions, the funny thing is people remember you more, because they want to talk about themselves. The most important person to anyone is themselves. So if you talk, you're going to cut that off. It's okay to tell them what you do, but then drive the questions back to them. Let them do all the talking. Number one, it takes all the pressure off you. Number two, you get to know what their issues are and what they love to do and what they do on the weekend and all those things, because they complete your picture of that person. And that's where you'll build your friendships in networking over the years. Carry something visual. For example, like a photo, a product, one of my books, for example, if it helps explain what you do or is a conversation starter. That's really handy. It doesn't have to be for promotion. It can just pique people's interest. And if you find small talk feels forced, then talk about the work problems that you solve. Most business owners really like that. So don't talk about what you do. Talk about the problems you solve. It's not always easy to get a conversation going. Okay, not everybody's great at conversation. And as I said before, a lot of people at networking, it's their first time and having to do that thing too. They're new in business and they're trying to find business. They're not used to talking that way. If you talk about problems you solve, they may see something in that for themselves. Always ask for introductions instead of pushing for a sale. If you're talking with someone, one of my favorite things is I'll buddy up with someone. So I have a friend who I go networking with. He has a home loan business and we buddy up. He'll be talking to someone And if I finish a conversation with someone else, I'll wander over and I'll say, oh, hi, how you going? And he'll introduce me to that person. And then I'm involved in that conversation. So it's like having a wingman, I suppose, or a wing woman. And it allows me to get into a conversation. Now, the reverse is sometimes I'll have been talking to someone and he said, oh, I'm looking for this particular type of person. I go, oh, I know a person like that. Come with me. And I'll take them over and introduce them. So it works both ways. So remember, you can actually, as you're learning about people, you now become a valuable resource. And what I found over the years is one of the things I'm really good at is getting to know people in the room. And then when I have conversations with other people, taking them over and connecting them, because everybody needs help networking. So you never know, you might actually get good at this. You need to build genuine connections. As I said, some of my best friends were actually made through networking. Follow up after each event with just one or two people, not everyone. Don't go to their office to sell. Invite them for a coffee. Meet them at the local cafe. Get them out of their office for the first time you're meeting them. Everybody wants to get away from work. So book a time, have a cup of coffee or a cold drink or something like that, or even a glass of water. I must admit, when I first started networking, I was doing coffee meetings and I was having like 5 cups of coffee in the morning until I was literally shaking. So I switched to water. Now they had a coffee and I had a water. That was fine. So just be aware you can overdose as well. But that hour sitting down with them, or half hour, whatever you can get, can be really great because you can just talk. Now, you might find there's a problem and then you can arrange to go to their office and actually go through the problem properly and go into business and actually talk business. But this is about building the connection. Make sure you add them on LinkedIn and send them a short message, SMS if you got their card, or through LinkedIn if you want to, and just say, it was great to catch up with you. Really enjoyed learning about whatever it happened to be. Give value to them. So one of the reasons that I do meet them for coffee is actually to answer questions. I'll get them talking and then I'll give them some ideas. Now, I'm not going to give away the whole caboodle, because if I give away everything, they're not going to pay me. And that was something I had to learn to do because I really like people and I really like helping people. So I had to learn to give away a tidbit to get them in the right direction, to show that I knew what I was talking about. And then when they realized they needed help, then they would invite me back for a proper conversation. So don't give away everything, but give them value and help them. Over time, those initial meetings, that initial coffee can become a regular thing, and you'll find that you build real friendship that naturally lead to referrals for your business. I have friends now who I've been talking to for years and years and years, and I'll just happen to be driving past their office on the way to another meeting, and I'll think, oh, on the way back, I'll call in and say hi. And I'll literally just rock up out of the car and say hi. And if they're free, we go and have a drink, or we have lunch or whatever, depending on what time of day it is. Or it might be just like, hi, I'm coming past, and they're like, oh, flat chat. Great. I'll just say, just thought I'd drop in and say hi as I was walking past. And then go back to my car and I continue on my journey. So build those friendships. Networking is so super powerful. Lastly, number 5, managing overwhelm. We all get overwhelmed. It's what happens. Go into your networking with a clear plan. How long are you going to stay? What do you want to get from it? And when are you going to leave? Sometimes I'll stay to last drinks. Sometimes I won't. I make sure I have an escape plan. So if I get stuck with someone I really don't want to talk to, or I'm not enjoying it, I have a reason to leave. And it might be, oh, I just need to get another drink. Sometimes that's all you need to do to break the connection and move on. Go and get a drink, even if it's water, and come back and join a different conversation. They won't be waiting. By the time you get back, they'll have moved on to another conversation. As I said, I like to bring a buddy, and that also really helps. So now when I do events, I just let them know, oh, I'm doing this event, do you want to come? And they book their own ticket. When you're out there and you're getting overwhelmed, step back, take a breath, have some time to yourself, and then go back into a one-on-one conversation. So rather than having a lot of noise around you, go back and find someone, even if it's someone new, and just have a conversation. Build that genuine interaction. And that way you can kind of cut off that excessive noise that's going on around you. Sometimes you can move to the side of the room or sit down at a table. All those dynamics change. Just to iterate again, please allow downtime after you've done events. You need time, because that sensory and social overload can really drain you. Sometimes it might be the only thing you can complete that day. It can be that tough. But over time, you will get better, I promise, because you'll train your brain to work in that environment, because you'll learn to enjoy it. And when you learn to enjoy it, it actually becomes less stressful. You'll still need time to cool off, but it might only be the half-hour trip home in the car or something like that. So that's it for today's chat. Networking doesn't have to be fake or draining or annoying. It can actually be one of the best parts of being in business when you do it your own way. Start small, find your people, and focus on building real connections, not just contact lists. You don't need contact lists, you need connections. This is the key to success. If you found this episode helpful, please make sure to follow the show so you don't miss the next one. I'll keep talking about what it really takes to build a business when you're wired a bit differently. By the way, this will be also available in audio version as a podcast only, so you can do a search on your favorite podcast app. And if you've got a networking story or a tip that's worked for you, please send me a message or comment, and I'd love to hear it and share it with the group. I'm sure everybody has stories that can help each other. So let's build this community and help us grow our businesses together. Thanks for listening to In Business with Autism. I'm Brad, and I'll catch you in the next episode.